So I have a client who just emailed me that his wife is now on hospice and probably has another month, if not at most maybe 2 to live. And leukemia is, basically eating her alive. And I can't remember how old these guys are, but if they're working with me, they're not that old. I'll tell you that right now. And he asked for prayers. I'm going to ask you to say prayers for him, and I'm not going to say his name, but just say prayers for those who are suffering, about to lose a loved one, because it sucks, dude. It sucks. No other way around that. And I can't remember, what did he just, I can't remember if they were dealing with this before and it just became worse. I don't recall, or if he, just woke up one day and said, I have, I don't feel good. And they went to the doctor. Next thing you know, they said, hey, you got 3 months to live and 2 months is already behind you. I don't know. But see, there's a difference between me and many of the financial advisors, academics, and out there, is that I deal with a reality because I work with people, and I've been working with actual people for many, many, many years, since 1998. And I will tell you right now, I can count on one hand, how many people have run out of money. Versus the amount of people who have lost a spouse or a loved one or died early is legion. You see what I'm saying? And it so annoys me how the fear is that you're going to run out of money, not the fear that you're going to die before you had a good chance to hang out with your loved ones. And I'm not. That doesn't mean you just throw everything in the wind and say, let's go party like it's 1999. But and I don't know, I guess I can't remember these guys' specific circumstance. And I emailed them back, and I certainly said my prayers for them this morning. But I just can't remember. Maybe they were able to party like it's 1999. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, if they're working with me, they're not 90 years old. You see what I'm saying? They're at the latest early 70s. At the latest. The vast, vast, vast majority of my clients are like 62. And I think they might be 68, 69, but don't quote me on that. And it just kills me. Obviously, we're all going to die. But do you want, when that happens, do you want to die saying, hey, I worked an extra couple years. That's great. Now, look, you might have to. I don't know your circumstance, man. You might be like me. We spent a lot of money up front to take the kids on vacay, to put them through school, and so I might have to work longer than I wanted to. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. But to sit there and listen to the academics and the freaking a-holes out there scare the bejesus out of you that you're going to run out of money and be desolate in Medicaid, it freaking pisses me off. Because let's look at the reality. How many people have run out of money and are on Medicaid? Not on Medicaid, have run out of money and are on Medicaid. You see the difference. The difference is the many people who are on Medicaid didn't have a whole lot to begin with. I guarantee you that. There are going to be some, probably my mom, who will be on Medicaid after she spent down all her assets. There are some like that. You see what I'm saying? My mom will probably be in 81 by the time she's on Medicaid. All right? And 81, that's not super duper old, but it's pretty old. Because she'll have run out of money because she's in a long-term care facility, which costs a freaking arm and a leg every single month. How many people are in these long-term care facilities? A, not that many. How many people have gone into long-term care facilities and B, going to Medicaid? Not that many. Oh, by the way, is Medicaid the worst thing that ever happened? No. You know what's worse than going on Medicaid? You know what's worse? Is when your wife dies at 68 years old with a freaking leukemia. And you're still, hey, man, I'm still plugging away. Or life dies at 63 years old from breast cancer. You're like, hey, I'm still plugging. Oh, now it's just me. Yes, there is always, I'm driving on the highway right now. There is a risk that a deer could come out and freaking just maybe swerve into the left lane here and hit a freaking trucker head on. There's a risk in everything you do. But the satisfaction of doing a life well lived, i.e., I want to enjoy the time I got with my spouse, with my kids, with my grandkids, is worth more than the risk. And again, that doesn't mean you just throw everything to caution and say, screw that. Josh is like, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, can we put some perspective on this to say, what's the likelihood of XYZ versus ABC? Can we put some perspective on this? And the answer is, we should. That's what I'm here for. And it seems like slowly but surely, the rest of the financial planning industry is coming into the reality of it, led by people like me, frankly. Now, there's some academics who are finally seeing the light. They've been seeing the light for, some for many more years than me. But in terms of the financial planning academics, there's some coming along the board. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, maybe we've been a little bit too nervous Nellies on this. When I'm saying financial planning academics, I'm talking about the guys you see work for Schwab, work for the insurance companies. I'm not talking about the academics at various universities or anything like that, or the NBER, National Bureau of Economic Research, or anything. I'm talking about, basically the academics you'll see who hire on at the various investment companies and whatnot. They're coming along finally. The academics, a lot of them, from the NBER, economics departments and whatnot, and the university systems, they're still well behind the curve on this. There's a few, obviously, but the vast majority is still well behind the curve. Oh my goodness, don't you know? Economics teaches us you should take Social Security at 70 because the Treasury inflation protection, the tip is yielding 2% real, so blah, blah, blah. This is freaking so stupid. And look, man, all I'm saying is, when I look at my wife, knowing that her dad died young, knowing her mom died young, I'll be damned if I freaking sit there and say, I'm going to freaking keep working until I'm 70 to make sure XYZ we don't run out of money. Hell no, man. You know why? Because if she dies before me, dude, if I'm on Medicaid, I don't care. I literally don't care. But I know I live light. I'll travel light. I know for a fact I will. The worst case is I go in a Medicaid facility. All right, dude, I don't care. If that's a sacrifice to be able to spend time, quality time, my better half, dude, that's a sacrifice I'll make 100 times out of 100, man. But what if you die early? Well, if I die early, if that's a sacrifice she has to make, I'll make that sacrifice for her 95 times out of 100. You can ask her, but we'll have a talk about it before I hang up the booth. All right, Charlotte, here's what could potentially happen. There's a 5% chance that you'll run out of money and be on Medicaid. Is that worth the risk of us retiring and freaking living large on the beach, or going to see the freaking Carolina Hurricanes play the Colorado Avalanche with their old, bringing out the Hartford Whalers and old Quebec Nordiques jerseys, sweaters on? Yeah, that's a risk we're going to be willing to take. Now, if she's not willing to take, I'll say, okay, we'll have to figure something else out. But I know she will, because she knows that. What's the likelihood of this happening, given our history? My dad died young. My mom is the only one who looks like she could run out of money, potentially, and be on Medicaid. And again, we're not there yet. I mean, not there, but it could happen. And she's still got $4,000 or $5,000 a month coming in from Medicare, from a Social Security and her annuity. So it's not like she's gonna be destitute. And I'm not even sure how it works when it comes to Medicaid. My sister and I we're texting back and forth. If she's got $4,000 to $5,000 a month coming in, how does it work? I don't know. I'm sure her facility will be able to educate her on that in terms of, well, if she's got these annuities and Social Security coming in, that's more than the $2,000 a month income. So does Medicaid kick in? I don't know how that works. But when she signed up for the facility, I guarantee they do. You see what I'm saying? So we'll have to figure that out when that situation comes, if it were to come. Anyway, so say your prayers, man. It freaking breaks my heart, dude. It doesn't break my heart like, oh my goodness. This is what I told my wife. When I die, I don't want you being mourning me. I want you partying like it's 1999, because Catholics, we're in heaven, dude. We believe it's time, Irish Catholics in particular, like we are, we believe we're onto a better place. So I want them getting drunk, freaking throwing a party, everyone having fun, drinking Guinness, you know what I'm saying? Throw me out in the backyard so the worms can dispose of me like a good in the soil, create the soil, because my body doesn't matter. My soul is with Jesus up there next to God. You see what I'm saying? I got no qualm with that. I mean, dude, I don't care. I told my wife this the other day. I said, do not spend a significant amount of money on a freaking whatever it's called, a casket. In fact, frankly, just literally throw me in the ground. Literally throw me into the ground. It's probably illegal to do that. And you know that you've been thrown in the ground if mushrooms grow up in front of me. Because mushroom is, that's what they devour, rotten trees and rotten bodies and stuff. There's a bunch of mushrooms. There's probably something decomposing underneath, which is great for the soil. dude, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, man. You see what I'm saying? That's what I want. But, my wife's not going to do that because A, it's illegal, B, she'll probably bury me or something like that. I haven't talked about whether or not we're going to be cremated or not. I don't know, but something we'll think about. I certainly, we think about organ donor. I don't know if I trust those guys as far as I could kick them, but I think there is some pretty validity to doing organ donors. But I don't know, man. It seems like a big money scheme to me. But anyway, all right. Well, God bless. Just say your prayers and pray for those who are losing loved ones or recently lost a loved one. And God, we're all going to go back to God at some point. All knees will bow for Jesus at some point.